Hey guys, it's your boy, Rogue FPV. Thanks for tuning in. It's review time, and I got another good one for you today. I want to thank Mepsking for reaching out and asking me to test and review their 20x20 F7 flight controller and 45 amp Blheli-32 ESC. I've also reviewed the Meps Space 2306 motors, so if you're interested in watching that content, there's a link in the video description down below. Before we begin, I need to make the following disclosures. I'm not sponsored by Meps or affiliated with them outside of the product reviews that I do. I'm not here to condone or criticize their marketing strategies and past business tactics. Meps did send me electronics to review at no cost, but they have not paid me for an endorsement. I'm under no contract with Meps, and no one has prior approval on what I say. My opinions and thoughts are entirely my own. Meps did ask that I include their logo in the video and mention their tagline, Meps is born for control. If at the end of this video you're interested in learning more about Mepsking and their products, I'll leave a standard non-affiliate link to their website in the description below. So on the bench today, we have the Meps SC 45 amp Mini ESC and the SC F7 Mini Flight Controller. These are both sized for 20x20 mounting. I'll be installing these in a 3-inch quad, but Meps also offers 30x30 size versions if you prefer those in larger quads. Let's get started with the ESC. All Meps electronics and motors come shrink wrapped in plastic. I already took my plastic off because I shot this scene once and it came out blurry. But again, let's get it out of the box. In the box, we've got our ESC, and we've got our bag of accoutrements. In the bag of parts, we get a LiPo lead, some nice heavy, what is this? 14 AWG, and a XT60 lead on the end. I'm kind of bugged by that. To be honest, this is a 20x20 stack, and we know most people are putting it in really small quads where weight is kind of important. This XT60, in my opinion, should have been an XT30, or they should have given you an extra XT30 along with this. It's not a problem to change, but, you know, to me, that was like a little bit of an oversight on their part. But they still give you some leads, so that's nice. A lot of companies don't give you that at all. We've also got included in the package a 470 ultra farad 35 volt cap, which is pretty nice. We've got 4 sets of cables for your harness. We've got 2 sets that you can use to custom pin, that they've just given you the crimp connectors and left them empty. And we've got 2 sets that are full, you know, 2 sets that have both ends on the cable. We've also got in the bag 2 empty connectors. So if you do need to do a custom pin out on your ESC, you got 2 empty connectors that you can pin however you need to, which is really, really nice. One extra cable and an extra empty harness would have been really sufficient. But 2 is pretty cool because you're going to save those, put those in your toolbox, and you're going to use those somewhere else later on. We've also got some gummies in the bag. And what's really nice is that we've got 2 sizes of gummies that come with the ESC. We've got the big ones. Let me get that out of there. And we've got some shorties. So depending on, you know, the height that you need to separate your flight controller and your ESC, they got you covered in that respect. So that's pretty cool. Again, this is a 20x20 mount ESC, and it's Blheli-32. That means you'll be able to run RPM filtering with no issue and use custom startup tones and all that jazz if you want. Jazz fingers. At the time of this filming, this is retailing on Meps site for $79.90 USD outside of any promotions or discounts they may be offering. Meps does offer free shipping on all orders over $150, and currently the only place you can purchase Meps products is directly from them. At least at the time of this filming, Meps is not sold in any retail markets. Do you guys normally order direct from a manufacturer, or do you prefer a specific retailer? Personally, I prefer Pyrodrone, but let me know in the comments down below. This ESC is rated for 3 to 6S LiPo voltage, so from 12.6 to 25.2 input volts. It's rated as a 45 amp ESC, so it should do 45 amp continuously with no issue and handle bursts up to 55 amps for a few seconds. Telemetry and current sensing are supported, and the overall dimensions are 33.5 by 39.8 millimeters. The weight is 9.2 grams. Now we can see the solder pads for the motor and the battery leads are not really small on this ESC. They're actually a good size, and that should make tinning and soldering up a breeze. There are holes to mount your cap directly here and here if you choose to put it through the holes and solder it up there. So bro, there you go. What do you guys think about this ESC? Let me know in the comments down below. So now let's take a look at the Mini F7 flight controller and see what's included in the box. Inside we've got our Meps sticker card with space logo, and on the back is company information, just like what's included with our ESC. We've got the mini flight controller, and below that, a bag of accessories. Let's go ahead and check out the bag of accessories before we check out the flight controller. So we've got in here 2 cables, 1 long and 1 short. We've also got 2 empty connectors. So if we need to make a custom cable, we can repin that. Oh, I'm wrong. There's actually 3 cables in the bag. One that you can custom pin, one that is plug and play, and then we've got another cable here that is for the DJI plug and play port. So that's kind of nice that they thought of that. And then we've got some little grommets. We've got 2 sizes, just like the ESC. Get those guys in frame. We've got 4 long and 4 short included in the bag. The flight controller is also 20 by 20 mount. It's got an STM32 F7 processor and an OSD chip, so you can use this if you run analog or any of the digital video systems. Input voltage is from 3 to 6S LiPo, so again, from 12.6 to 25.2 volts. The overall dimensions are 37 by 37 millimeters, and the weight is 5.2 grams. The included features are a 5V 2A and 10V 2A dual bec. Personally, I would have liked to have seen 3 amps just for a little bit of extra headroom. A Bosch BMI 270 gyro, 16 megabytes of flash base for black box logging, analog camera control, integrated pit switch, DJI Direct plug and play, LED beeper support, 4 usable UARTs, SCL and SCA pads for a compass, and a USB-C connection. There are a ton of solder pads on this board, and because of that, the pads are pretty small. So soldering up to this might be a little tricky for some people with less experience soldering. Overall though, it's pretty feature-packed for a Mini F7, and all it's really missing in my opinion is a barometer. What do you guys think about the features on this little guy? What would you like to see changed? Let's talk about it in the comments down below. So now, all we gotta do is connect it and program it. Alright. That's the completed build. Let's go fly it. Now, as you guys know, I mainly fly KISS Ultra, so let's see how this compares. So guys, the stack flies great. It's got plenty of processing power and looks relatively noise-free in my black box logs. The ESC is easily keeping up with the demands that the flight controller and motors are asking for. Everything works correctly, and the quality of the materials and manufacturing are comparable to other premium brands. They also include plenty of accessories like soft mounts, cable harnesses, etc. Now for some things I don't like and places where I think Meps can improve. Size of the ESC. The battery pads hit the Vista in my 3-inch Apex build, so I had to turn the ESC 180 degrees. Not really a big deal, but I didn't have enough wire to run the LiPo leads out the back of the frame like I prefer. I'll run them out the front like they are for now and correct it when I get more wire. The included LiPo pigtail would have been plenty long enough, but it's 16 AWG and it's got an XT60 connector on it. Now that's fine for 5-inch and most people, but I'm flying this stack on a 3-inch frame and I'm using 4S LiPos with XT30 connectors to save weight. Personally, I would have liked to have seen an XT30 pigtail included with the mini ESC and an XT60 pigtail included with the 30x30 size. My main complaint is with the flight controller though, and it's that the 5-volt rail doesn't power up by USB like almost all other flight controllers on the market today. You have to plug in a LiPo to test your receiver or radio on the bench, as well as other peripherals like a GPS or compass. It's not the end of the world, but it's a pain in the butt. Every time I have to test a receiver or do anything in Betaflight that requires a radio, I have to plug in a LiPo and cook my Vistas and my Walksnail VTX units. So I hope that Meps sees this and considers it a point of improvement for the future. The solder pads on the flight controller are kind of small. I didn't have trouble soldering to them, but some users may. The way the flight controller and ESC are spaced out, there's plenty of room on the bottom of the flight controller, so maybe a future revision could have a plug for your receiver there. The receiver was actually the only thing that I did have to solder on the flight controller, thanks to the included DJI plug. As always, I want to thank Meps for continuing to send me hardware for review, and I want to thank you guys for watching all the way to the end. If you like this content, please like and subscribe for more. It really helps my channel out a lot. Check out my review of the Meps space motors and some of my other videos and playlists, including my Just the Tip series, with helpful tips and tricks on how to make your FPV easier.